The exploration of the old abandoned house in Georgia started on a hot, sticky summer afternoon. The air smelled of wet earth and thick plants. The house was at the end of a long, twisting dirt road. Its paint, once bright, was now peeling and faded, almost hidden by the overgrown grass and trees. The tall grass swayed gently in the wind, and the trees around the house cast long shadows on the ground. As the main character and his brother got closer to the house, they both felt uneasy. The old wooden porch creaked under their feet, making them feel even more nervous as they stepped inside. Inside the house, it was dark and dusty. The air felt heavy, as if it hadn't been touched in years. Sunlight came through broken windows, making strange shapes on the floor. Every room they entered looked like it was stuck in time, with broken furniture and old, faded pictures that seemed to stare at them. The brothers glanced at each other, feeling both curious and scared. "This place gives me the creeps," the main character whispered. His brother nodded, feeling the same way. They moved deeper into the house, feeling more and more tense. Then suddenly they heard a noise from the corner of the room. They turned around and saw a woman standing in the shadows. She was unexpected and scary. She looked to be in her late 30s, with messy hair and a torn dress that blended with the darkness around her. Her wide, unblinking eyes stared at them. "What are you doing here?" she asked, her voice rough and low, echoing in the empty room. The brothers froze in fear and looked at each other, confused. We were just exploring," the main character said, his heart racing. The woman took a slow step forward, studying them carefully. "You shouldn't be here," she warned, her voice now colder and more threatening. The air seemed heavy with tension, and the brothers instinctively took a step back, feeling like they should run. As the woman continued to stare, the brothers felt more and more scared. The main character's mind raced with questions. Who was she? What had happened in this house? The fear grew stronger, and without another word, the brothers turned and ran for the door, their hearts pounding. When they finally reached their car, they were still shaking. They couldn't stop thinking about the woman and what they had just seen. It wasn't just an old, abandoned house. They had felt like they had walked into something much scarier and more dangerous. The experience stayed with them, making them feel both breathless and afraid. Starting a summer job at the carnival in downtown LA was exciting and nerve-wracking. The bright lights and lively music filled the air, drawing crowds who were looking for fun and adventure. Among all the attractions, the funhouse was the most popular. People loved it for its crazy mirrors and confusing paths. It was full of surprises, where people could get lost in the twists and turns. I was in charge of managing the funhouse, a job that was both thrilling and a little scary. Each day I greeted visitors, their faces full of excitement, while also making sure everyone stayed safe. The sounds of laughter and shouts filled the air, but there was always a sense of tension. The funhouse was full of surprises, and I had to keep things under control. As time went on, I started noticing some strange things. I would count the guests who entered the funhouse, but when they left, the numbers didn't add up. For example, I would count 20 people going in, but only 18 would come out. At first, I thought it was just a mistake. But soon, the pattern was clear. Where were the missing guests? Were they getting lost in the mirrors? Or was something more sinister happening? I watched the visitors closely as they wandered through the fun house. Some seemed to be having fun, but others looked confused, even scared. The atmosphere inside felt strange, like the walls were hiding something. Then, strange noises began, whispers I couldn't explain, and shadows that seemed to move on their own. It felt like the funhouse was hiding a secret, and I was determined to find out what it was. One day, a blonde girl caught my eye as she entered the funhouse. Her golden hair shone under the lights, and she looked confident but curious. I felt drawn to her, But when she stepped inside, I felt an urge to follow. I watched as she disappeared into the maze of mirrors. But after a while, I grew concerned. She'd been inside for longer than I expected. The fun house, which used to be all fun, now felt eerie and tense. I kept staring at the door, hoping she would come out, but she didn't. I decided to go in after her. As I walked through the mirrors, I noticed something strange. One part of the wall seemed off. The colors were duller, and the mirrors here didn't reflect properly. I approached the area and, to my surprise, found a hidden door behind the mirrors. It was small and looked like it had been forgotten. I knew right away this door wasn't part of the fun house. What was it hiding? My heart raced with fear and excitement. Whatever was behind it could be dangerous, but I had to know. Taking a deep breath, I pushed open the door. Beyond it was a dark, cold tunnel. The sounds of the carnival faded, leaving a heavy silence. The walls were damp, and the air felt still. I felt a sense of dread, but I had to keep going. As I moved deeper into the tunnel, I spotted something on the ground. A purse. It was the blonde girl's. My stomach tightened as I realized she had been here. Had she come this way? What had happened to her? Suddenly, I heard a soft whimper. Following the sound, I found her huddled against the wall, her eyes wide with fear. She looked scared and disheveled, and I could tell she had been through something terrifying. I thought I was lost, she whispered, her voice shaky. I grabbed her hand and urged, "We need to get out of here." The tunnel felt like it was closing in on us, and I knew we had to escape before it was too late. Once we got out of the tunnel, the police arrived. They began investigating the funhouse and its hidden tunnels. I learned that the funhouse had a long, strange history. It had been built years ago, and there were rumors about secret passages and hidden rooms. The police questioned me about what had happened, but the carnival's owner seemed unconcerned. He acted like everything was normal, but I couldn't shake the feeling he was hiding something. The more I thought about it, the more I realized I couldn't keep working at the carnival. What had once been a place of excitement now felt full of secrets and danger. I decided to quit my job and leave. The lights and laughter that had once made me happy now seemed fake, hiding the darkness underneath. As I walked away, I felt a mix of relief and sadness. The carnival had changed me, and I knew I couldn't go back.